This is Joshua Farnsworth. Welcome to my traditional woodworking school. In this video, hand plane expert Bill Anderson will walk you through the process of refurbishing antique wooden and metal plow planes so you can plow grooves in your furniture.
We do a little work on plow planes here. I mentioned earlier that you can change the angle, you can modify the angle on a plow plane iron to match the taper and wedge of your iron, so that's something to do. This back side here is soft iron, so it's easily ground down or filed, so you can match a taper. You can also, if you have extra irons that aren't part of a set, you can shape them for special purposes, and that's a useful thing to do there. The main thing that goes wrong, so to speak, with plow planes, I should say, is that the screws are broken out. And I talked earlier about ways to fix that, and I'll spend a little more time on that. But let me just say, whatever work you do on a plow plane, usually plow planes are sort of older, more valuable tools, so don't start modifying things here until you're really confident that you have a definable goal in progress. So to get back to these threads here, I've repaired threads manually by carving out a flat area that encompasses the broken threads, gluing on a piece of beech with the grain running this way here, just as the grain's running on the arms here, gluing that on opposite sides, then carving again at right angles to that, and making a block here of new wood, paring that out until it matches the diameter of this curve here, then laying out the pitch of the threads all the way around here, and carving those out with a V-gouge. Now, it's a time-consuming process, but it can be done, and in the event of no other recourse, that's a way to do that. The only alternative would be to have a machinist make a tap and die that's specific for the plane threads that you have. Now, I've looked at about 50 screw arm planes, and not one single pair of planes had the same combination of diameter of rod and pitch of threads. So the likelihood of finding a tap and die, an old tap and die that's going to match threads that you might be interested in, is relatively remote. I know that because I've been trying for years now. So carving them is one option, or having a machinist make one based on the measurements off your plane is another option, but that is way beyond the scope of this video. The nuts, if the nuts are cracked, and these nuts are not cracked, but if they were, the very best solution is to try and stabilize the crack in some manner. And in the past, I've used a 5-minute 2-part epoxy to do that, to fill in the crack and hopefully to keep that from developing any further. If the nuts actually screw on here and are moving freely on here, and you can close up the crack a little bit with epoxy, then that's the best solution. Trying to cut another nut would require being tapped with a special purpose tap, and cutting on the lathe, a very sophisticated process, and if at all possible, try and rehab the nut itself in any way you possibly can. The other type of plane I mentioned, the screw arm adjust planes, and this plane was originally together like that. These arms pass these holes and they're locked in place with wedges, and you can see one wedge here and one wedge here, and those wedges slide in and out. If you're missing a wedge, you can pull out the arms from the body of the plane, and you can take out the remaining wedge, and you can make a model from this wedge to replace the one you've got. And you can see that it's got a taper here, and that taper matches the dimensions of this mortise here And there, you can see the taper is wider here and narrower here, and you know the width of the mortise there, so from that you can calculate the correct taper for this wedge.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying watching our video so far, and I just want to take a few seconds to let you know about our traditional woodworking store, which you can visit while taking a class or by visiting our website at woodandshop.com/store. You'll find our amazing products to help you grow in traditional hand tool woodworking, including in-person and video woodworking classes, woodworking hand tools and workbenches, woodworking plans, traditional wood finishes, shirts and hats, and cool hand tool woodworking gifts for you or your loved ones. Okay, back to the show.
In the event, for example, that you didn't have any wedges at all, you could replace the wedges. From that information, you could make a pair of wedges that would fit in here. And so that would be a way to rehab a wedge arm plow plane. And that's pretty straightforward. If you find what's in good condition, just missing the wedges, that's a gold mine. I would go for it, make new wedges. Definitely worthwhile. Other than that, the only other thing I mentioned, and I think I mentioned this before, I'll just reiterate, the skate needs to be in line. The front and back halves of the skate need to be in line with each other. And if they're not, you can sometimes take the skate off and shim it for them to be in line. This particular skate, I cannot take off. It's been riveted in place. But some skates are screwed in place, and you can do that. The other thing is the skate needs to be in the same surface here, so I may need to file that so it's the same line there. So you may just need to take a look at your skate and make sure that it's linear this way and flat that way. Other than that, not too much else needs to be done to these plow planes. The other type of plow plane is this very simple Stanley 248, and really about the only thing that needs to be done with this is maybe replacing missing parts. Screws, arms here, depth stop, cutters. Now, a lot of these parts are available from people who specialize in Stanley parts online. Antique Stanley parts, and in some cases, Stanley Company itself still sells some parts for some of their planes, and you can still buy those new. Not necessarily in the same quality as these older parts were, but could be a valuable source. I would check the internet, and I would check stanleytools.com, or if such a website still exists. It's been a while since I've looked at it. I have had 2 sets of cutters made for me in the past, because you usually only find one cutter with these planes, the one that happens to be in the plane. And if you want a full set, and you can go to any Stanley manual, and you can see these cutters, you can see the dimensions, the cutters that would have been supplied with these planes. And based on one cutter here, you can figure out the geometry of the cutter, and you just need to have the machinist make different widths. And that's very straightforward. And I've had a couple sets made. It's very expensive. But in the end, for me, it was worthwhile. Other than that, not too much to do with these planes here, except get the rust off of them and make sure that they run smoothly in the on the work, the fence, and so on and so forth. But those are pretty straightforward things, and I think anyone would do those without a second thought. As far as sharpening the irons, remember that all these irons are sharpened square across. And we've already talked about sharpening irons square across. We did that with a rabbet plane back earlier in this video. Very straightforward, same process that you would have for any plane iron, bench plane iron, molding plane irons that are sharpened square across. These, of course, do not have any camber at all. They're square across, and they have a nice flat bevel right here. So those are the only important things. And of course, this face edge here is polished and flat. Those are the most important things about squaring these up, and that's pretty straightforward.
If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking, come take a class at our school in Earlysville, Virginia. You can also visit our website at woodandshop.com, where you'll find a bunch of free woodworking lessons, workshop tours, and our very popular tool buying guides. And make sure you subscribe to our free newsletter to get our latest articles and videos. Enjoy!